What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Yesterday, I lost to Incineroar quite a few times in the Willpower Cup, and honestly, it's a Pokemon I completely forgot was in this meta. It's one of the few fire types that you can actually use here, and running Fire Fang for a lot of fast attack pressure, as well as Brutal Swing and Blast Burn, this Pokemon is a fantastic core breaker. I'm going to pair it up today with our Shadow Murkrow, one of the squishiest Pokemon in this meta, but I love using it here. I spent a lot of Stardust on it as well, and might as well get my mileage out of this thing while it's still meta, using Peck, Drill Peck, and Foul Play. And finally, in the backline, a Claydol, one of the strongest and bulkiest Pokemon in this meta. Let's get into the battles and see what this team can do. First game of the day, Incineroar as our lead up against the opposing Incineroar, a mirror match to start things off. Very interesting matchup, saying Incineroar does resist both the fire and the dark type damage that we're going to see here, which means while we won't get one shot, it will still add up over time. The fast food pressure is still chunking, but I'm not going to have to worry about instantly shielding a move. With that said, I go for a Brutal Swing bait. Our opponent does opt for that shield there. It was a CMP as well. Is this a Blast Burn from them? It might be, but honestly, I think I do survive, and I like keeping shields in the backline for our Murkrow if I can, so I end up swapping out here into our Claydol. We bait out a Sableye, not a Pokemon I really want to see, because at this point, I think our backline, right, or rather our two Dark types, are much better into this Pokemon than our Psychic type here. With that said, Rock Tomb as well as Mud Slap damage is going to add up quite a bit over time. I'm hoping I can survive a Foul Play here and get off a second Rock Tomb. I'm not quite sure if that will be the case. It's gonna be close here. No, they farm us all the way down. They have so much energy. I think the play is going to be coming with our Shadow Murkrow, farm this all the way down, get some energy on this Pokemon, and see what their final Pokemon might be. We shield the Dazzling Gleam. That easily would have one-shot us despite that debuff on their attack stat. In comes the Incineroar. I go for a potential CMP on a Drill Peck, but they keep on over-farming here. I'm not sure what they're trying to do at this point. Maybe they're going to go for the shield. They do. They just want fast attack pressure against us, I guess, here. They nearly knock us out with those Fire Fangs. In the backline is a Fighting and Water-type Pokemon. Thought that was a Poliwrath at first. No, that was a Tauros, a Paldean Tauros. Very unique pick here. One-shots it, though. Down goes the Tauros, down goes the Sableye. A full Murkrow sweep. Love to see it. GG to our opponent. Next game, a Rapidash in the lead. This Pokemon has access to a lot of high damaging moves, as well as a lot of spamminess with that Fairy Wind fast attack. But I know here, if they want to go for the knockout, they have to go for either a Mega Horn or a high horsepower, or maybe a Wild Charge if they have that. If they go for a Body Slam bait, Incineroar is not that squishy, right? I should be able to survive it, and I should force more energy out of them. I'm going to go for the no-shield. What is our opponent going to throw? For once in my life, I no-shield the right move here from this Pokemon. In comes another Body Slam likely against us. I can survive this, although it might put us into Fairy Wind farm down range. That is exactly what happens. Down goes our Incineroar. They actually swap out instead into their Shadow Sableye, so they give up Switch and Shield advantage in this game. An interesting play by our opponent here. I know that our Shadow Murkrow should be able to go for a lot of damage against them with Peck as well as Drill Peck, and if this Pokemon avoids our Claydol, we should be in a pretty good spot. I'm going to go now for the CMP on this Drill Peck. If they go for the shield here, I think I can Peck all the way down. If they no-shield, I still have a lot of energy in the backline. Of course, if you go down 2 shields against a Murkrow, that could be a scary thing. So our opponent here actually does opt to go for the no-shield. They come back in Rapidash, and comes a Drill Peck. Let's see what our opponent's going to do. They actually do opt to let that go once again, and in the backline is a Greninja here, a Pokemon that is a little bit scary for us to see, but I know Claydol doesn't get one-shot by a move. I also know that our Murkrow should win CMP in the backline, so I swap it out, not to give him any extra energy here on this Greninja. I can go for the shield. They go for a Night Slash. Luckily, no boost on that Night Slash here, and because I do get to this Rock Tomb, this should guarantee either a shield or a knockout. They do end up shielding that attack here. I was getting close to Hydro Cannon range, but after that debuff, honestly, it might not even be enough still. They're going to go for an attack here. Once again, a Night Slash being thrown, maybe fishing for another boost, but it's not going to matter. Mudsap is doing so much to them, and while they might be able to knock us out here, I still have that Drill Peck in the back line, and Murkrow is going to guarantee that CMP. Murkrow has such a high attack stat. In comes the move here. Down goes the Greninja, and while Greninja is a very tricky Pokemon for our team, Murkrow is able to close it out. Love to see it. Good games to our opponent. Next game, Incineroar up against a Shadow Drapion. Now, if this is on Poison Sting, it could be a little bit more awkward, but no, it must not be. It must be on Ice Fang instead, because they instantly swap out. They come in with a Shadow Annihilate here, and I know for a fact they're going to go for a Rage Fist against us. I'm not going to shield this up. That was only 6 counters. I say only a Rage Fist. It does like half of our HP here, but I do get this Drill Peck off against them. The thing is, I don't necessarily need Switch advantage against this team. At least I'm hoping that I don't. Saying at this point, we have 2 Pokemon that are pretty good into that Drapion, and I have no idea what's in the backline. Might be another fighter, which could be a little bit awkward. It is Ice Fang. That damage is shredding through our HP right now. I have Rock Tomb ready to go in just a second, but because they have Aqua Tails themselves, they might be able to get 2 moves off, which might get both of our shields. Aqua Tail does come through, in comes an attack here, but not quite yet. Our opponent actually swaps out into their final Pokemon. I like to see this, actually. Well, our energy is all resisted by this Poliwrath. Rock Tomb as well as Mudsap will add up quite a bit over time, and I still have my Incineroar in the backline that's going to have a lot of play into that Drapion. Rock Tomb number 2 is going to come through, and since Poliwrath is not a spammy Pokemon here, I think I can one-shield farm all the way down, Rock Tomb that Drapion to debuff their attack stat, and if I get a debuff against them, there's no chance a single Aqua Tail would knock out our Incineroar there in the backline. So, yeah, we do go for that full farm down. They don't have a move just yet. We Rock Tomb, which should either knock out or draw their final shield, and the second our Incineroar comes back in, it will be GG's. Our opponent realizes that, down goes that Drapion. Well played to our opponent. Next game, Incineroar up against a Mandibuzz. Okay, very bulky Pokemon here, but I know that Fire Fang as well as Blast Burn is very neutral against them, and while Air Slash and Aerial Ace are neutral against us as well, if I can neutralize this Pokemon for our backline, that's not going to be a bad thing. Here comes a Blast Burn here. Do we see a shield? I know it's a very high damaging move, but Mandibuzz is bulky. They might try to survive. No, they do end up shielding. Honestly, that's fine by me, though. I love getting shields from very bulky Pokemon like this, because that means likely there's going to be squishier Pokemon in the backline that my Murkrow is going to be able to fight off against. Turns out they come back in with a Primeape here on the Say Swap. I could go for a no-shield on what is almost certainly a Rachis, but honestly, I want to go for like a 2-shield farm down, I think, at this point. I know that Murkrow should have a lot of play against that Mandibuzz even still, and if we can get shields down here, then Claydol's going to have a bit more fun in the backline too. Down goes that Primeape, in comes a Mandy once again here, and while we're going to be able to get to a Drill Peck, they do build up some more energy themselves, and I think we are getting close to a range where an Aerial Ace would be enough to knock us out. Drill Peck comes through, it doesn't quite KO them there, but that is an insane amount of damage, right? Puts them down deep into the red. And I think I can even Fire Fang down if I need to, or Brutal Swing if they're close to another attack here on this Pokemon. In the backline for them is going to be their own Incineroar. And while this is resisted damage, if I throw the Brutal Swing, then either I can farm them down fully with Mud Sap, or I can Rock Tomb them later on in this game. They do no shield, so I can farm them down now with our Claydol. I know Brutal Swing wouldn't one-shot us here, but I might as well shield this up one way or another. That way I can farm this down, go for the Rock Tomb against that Mandibuzz, and then Mandy has no chance of knocking out both my Claydol as well as my Incineroar. Comes the Rock Tomb here, our opponent is going to have to shield this if they want to survive, but honestly, at this point, they might just know it's over. They no shield, yeah, not much this Mandibuzz can do, especially with that debuff in the backline. GG to our opponent. Next game, Mandy in the lead once again. Last game we saw they shielded that Blast Burn, and while they did shield it, I don't think baiting is ever going to be the play. I want to guarantee either a shield or damage here with this team especially, so I'm very fine going for the overfarm here. Go for that Blast Burn in just a second. In comes the Aerial Ace. We do survive that pretty comfortably, despite Aerial Ace getting a bit more of a damage increase in this season, but it's still not that great of a move. In comes our Blast Burn. Do we see a shield here? Our opponent this time lets it go, nearly one-shots a Mandibuzz. I have to go for a CMP with his Brutal Swing before they get to their next attack. That next Ace would have knocked us out here, but I can guarantee either a shield or a knockout with a resisted Brutal Swing against that Mandibuzz. Down goes Mandy. Wow, okay, they come into the Poniard here to farm down our Fire-type Pokemon. 3 Fire Fangs put them down to about half HP, 2 more Mud Saps puts them down to about a third HP remaining, and while this damage is super effective against us, this is going to put us in such a good position. They swap out here to an Annihilate, and it looks like at this point we just have fast move pressure for days against them. I don't think I even need a charge attack to win this game at this point. All I need to do is tap my phone screen, go for the peck damage here against this Annihilate, go for the Mud Saps against that Poniard, and this game should be ours. I get a Simul KO there, which is honestly probably just for the best, right? I take care of the Annihilate, and I make it so they don't get any extra farm against us with this Poniard. A couple more Mud Saps, finish him off. GG to our opponent. I guess fast moves just a little bit too powerful with this team. Speaking of high fast move pressure, I guess the Shadow Murkrow on the opposite side here. I see this matchup, and I see it's a pretty neutral scenario here, where the peck damage is doing a lot to us. They do outpace us with Drill Pecks as well, and I'm not quite sure if I can farm down here just with Fire Fangs in the one-shield matchup. It's going to be close. I might have been able to farm down there. I'm not going to risk it, though. I'm going to go for this Brutal Swing to make sure either I get a shield or a KO against them. They do end up going for that shield there. I'm going to go now for the no-shield myself, and this might be a bold play, but I think I might be able to Mud Sap this down before foul play is going to be reached. It looks like that is the case. Murkrow, while it is a flying type, is one of the squishiest Pokemon in the entire meta, so we get a lot of energy here, which I guess might just be worthwhile saying in the backline is a Shadow Sableye. Rock Tomb as well as Mud Sap is going to be neutral here, and on that Shadow Multiplier on their defense stat, it's going to do so much more damage. We get a shield, and in the back is going to be a more Pekko here. I think we have a way to win this game, but it's going to be very close at this point. I know Murkrow, while it is going to only do resisted damage here, has just such a high damage output. Look at that damage here. As long as they can't get to an Aura Wheel against us, we should be able to win. I have a shield. I'm fine if they go for a Psychic Fangs bait. In fact, even if they land another Psychic Fangs here, it's not going to knock us out. As long as I can peck down before an Aura Wheel will be reached, we should be able to win this one. If that is an Aura Wheel, we get knocked out. If that's just a Psychic Fangs, which it is, we survive, we farm down. We have a Drill Peck ready to go against that Sableye. We can throw it, we can knock them out, and once again, Murkrow here in the backline, able to pick up the win. Down goes that Sableye. Look at that damage. Drill Peck is such an insane move. Shadow Murkrow quickly becoming one of my favorite Pokemon here, especially in this meta. Another game, Shadow Drapion in the lead. Must be on Ice Fang again. Wow, they swap into a Bullet Punch Lucario here. I try to catch a Power-Up Punch. Our opponent throws a move, though, only after 7 Bullet Punches. I know for a fact that is not going to be a Shadow Ball. I know shield. I'm going to farm them all the way down here. This is an insane team so far. I have no idea what our opponent is thinking. I mean, I would imagine that Drapion, even with Ice Fang, is better into Incineroar than a Bullet Punch Lucario, right? Either way, they do bring back in that Ice Fang Lucario, or Ice Fang Drapion rather here, which means I will get a shield with that Rock Tomb. Aqua Tail might not quite knock us out here, but I know at this point with the energy we still have on Incineroar, we should be in a fantastic spot. In the backline, Shadow Poliwrath. Okay, we just RPS the heck out of this guy. Peck damage, all we need to win is this game. Yeah, fast attack pressure once again coming through for our team. GG to our opponent. All right, another Mandibuzz on the lead. We saw a couple of these earlier on in the game, or in the video that is, and I know for a fact our Blast Burn does not one-shot them, but it does do enough damage here to at least warrant either maybe a shield from them, or if I do land it, that's totally fine by me. I'm so happy getting this Pokemon to be so low on HP. They do end up going for the throw after the fact. They no-shield that Blast Burn. It puts them down deep into the red, and I think at this point, maybe going for a farm down could be an idea as well. Last time I did go for that Brutal Swing here, which might not have been a good play. Okay, I like this play as well. Go for the catch. I think I play this Mandibuzz matchup out a couple of different ways. This time I catch an Aerial Ace. I save a lot of energy on our Incineroar, and to make things better for us here too, they don't really have another good answer for us once their Mandibuzz is out of the way. They come in with a mirror match of a Claydol. They CMP with a Scorching Sands, and our opponent gets the 10% debuff chance. I swear, did they even nerf this move? I don't even know at this point. I think I've been hit by like 3 or 4 Scorching Sands. I think at least half of them have debuffed me, so it's insane. That said, I still do reach this Ice Beam here in the end game. I am debuffed. There's a chance this doesn't knock out. They no-shield. They survive. Oh my goodness. That debuff just coming in clutch for our opponent. I did save the energy on Incineroar, though, so I'm going to knock him out with this Brutal Swing. Likely at this point, hope that our Murkrow has enough play in the backline to win us this game. It's going to be close. A Shadow Annihilate in the backline. I'm desynced to turn, so I will throw this Drill Peck just to try to get my turn back here. I will get 1 damage, I guess, on this shield as well. Maybe that's impactful. Maybe it's not here. Our opponent, in my opinion, making a bit of a misplay. They throw energy themselves, which means I get a full Peck sneak through. I think this might mean it's a Simul KO on this matchup. Yeah, down goes the Annihilate, which means now all I need are a couple Fire Fangs to knock out that Mandibuzz, and we are just barely able to fast move down. Well played, I guess, to our opponent, but I think in the endgame there, just committing to fast move pressure could have been their win condition. Next game is a Murkrow on the lead, a non-Shadow Murkrow, very interestingly enough, and I'm not quite sure how to play out this matchup. I know the Shadow Murkrow takes a lot of damage from our Fire Fangs, but the non-Shadow able to do just a little bit more work here. Drill Peck will still knock us out, basically, because it's such a strong attack. Honestly, the Shadow in this matchup is a bit overkill. I go for the Brutal Swing bait. Our opponent could shield this up potentially. They do, and at this point, in comes another Fire Fang. They can knock us out. I know that my Murkrow down shields is a pretty useless Pokemon, so I think what I want to do instead is no shield this, farm down with my own Murkrow, get a lot of energy, and hope their backline is not going to hard wall all of what I can do. Down goes that Murkrow. What is in the back here? It's going to be their own Incineroar. I have a Drill Peck ready to go. And this attack is a Shadow Drill Peck. They have to shield this, right? There's no chance they can't. Yeah, we do get a shield here. I swap into Claydol. In the backline is their own Claydol. And I think I see a good way to win this game. All I need to do is land a single Ice Beam against them, and that should guarantee the win. Once again, though, a Scorching Sands being thrown. This could debuff us, I guess, or maybe it's a Rock Tomb. I'm not quite sure. It is a Scorching Sands. Luckily, no debuff this time. I assume going to land super effective damage into the opposing Claydol. It will put them down deep into the yellow, and I think at this point, this game is going to be ours. Down goes this Claydol here to 5 Mud-Ups. Actually, no, not quite. They hang on 1 HP. They're going to knock us out here with this move. I want to shield this up, guarantee that I can get this Rock Tomb off against their Incineroar. While I am debuffed with their Rock Tomb, I know it's still super effective damage, and with this debuff against them, I don't even know if a Brutal Swing knocks out a Murkrow at this point. Peck damage doing so much here to this Pokemon. Down goes our Murkrow potentially to this attack. How much does this do? No, with the debuff, we survive, actually. It's a Simul KO, and with our Claydol in the backline, we pick up the win. GG to our opponent. Next game, a Pawniard. Oh, you couldn't see a much better lead for an Incineroar here. I'd love it if they stay in. Our opponent, though, they don't give us the satisfaction. Instead, they swap out to a Claydol. But honestly, Shadow Murkrow here is such a dominant matchup, as we've seen throughout this meta. Just shield that first Rock Tomb, go for almost 100 energy, throw a Foul Play, get a huge farm down here, and our opponent is in such a bad spot. Foul Play being thrown, and while I can go for a full charge here, it's not going to knock him out, but it will put them into a perfect Peck farm down range. I'll have nearly back-to-back attacks coming out of this, and I know for a fact Pawniard, well, it is a Pokemon that does wall my energy, quote-unquote. It's not that bulky. I am debuffed. It's not going to matter. 2 Drill Pecks basically going to knock out anyway. First one coming through, our opponent will end up going for that no-shield. Second one coming through, will we see a no-shield once again? If they do, they are just going to get sniped down by fast move pressure, potentially. In comes that Drill Peck. Down goes their first shield. Incineroar going to come in here. Our opponent staying in for just a second. These Fire Fangs ripping through their HP. In comes an X-Scissor. It does put us down to about half HP myself. And in the backline is an opposing Sableye. That is fantastic to see. I go for a potential bait on a Blast Burn Brutal Swing coming through. Do we get a shield? Do we get the damage here? Our opponent does opt to shield that attack up, And now, while I don't think I can get to a Blast Burn still, I'm going to get a lot of Fire Fang damage off. They can't Shadow Claw us down here. They need to go for energy against us, and we still have a fully healthy Claydol in the backline that should be able to knock out that Pawniard if we need it to. In comes a Brutal Swing on a CMP with a foul play. Will our opponent be able to survive? In comes a move. They do barely survive here. Our Incineroar will end up going down, but I think at this point, this is the Claydol show. I can Mudslap this down if I need to. In fact, I can even peck things down if I wanted to as well, but I think the Mudslaps will be the way to go. Down goes that Pawniard, down goes the Sableye to 2 more Mudslaps, and we pick up the KO. GG to our opponent. Next game is going to be a Sableye on the lead. We saw this a second ago. Not a bad matchup for us. Although on even shields and even energy, they can't go for baits against us, which could be a little bit awkward. While Brutal Swing is a very spammy attack here, Fire Fang does not build up enough energy to truly outpace them if they want to like double bait and then nuke us. We do shield the Dazzling Gleam though, which is a fantastic thing for us to see. By shielding that attack up here, then I know this is only a foul play. We can go for that no shield here. Can I even just commit to a farm down at this point? If I can, that is going to be catastrophic for our opponent because 2 Blast Burns in the backline, it's going to start unwinding their entire team. Even a Claydol here is not going to Mudslap us down in one move. What was that? A Mandibuzz comes through. Okay, well, 2 Blast Burns against this especially. I mean, while it's not going to one-shot, it will put them down deep into the red. In comes our second attack. Will we see a shield from our opponent? I don't know at this point. They might just be completely sacking this. They do let that go. In the backline is a Murkrow. And since they've no-shielded every single one of our moves in this game, I think the play is pretty self-evident. Just tap the phone screen, shield up this move, go for the peck damage against this Murkrow, get as much fast attack pressure as I can, and then just go for the Mudslaps and the Fire Fangs and win the game that way. In comes a move here. It's going to be a Drill Peck to knock us out, but now they're in Mudslap downrange. And if I bring in my Claydol, maybe there's a chance I could throw another move here just to debuff them with the Rock Tomb utility. They do come back in that Mandibuzz here, and I know there's no chance that they have to get through us. They are so low on HP. I go for the Rock Tomb here, our opponent. Even if they go for the no-shield, this Undercharge probably still does it. Yeah, unfortunately for them, their shield's not super useful for them in that game. Maybe shielding a Blast Burn could have been a better play there. I don't know, but GG to them. Next game is a Low Kicks. We see an instant swap out into a Mandibuzz here. And honestly, I don't have a better answer to Mandibuzz than my Incineroar, right? So might as well just stay in, go for the Fire Fangs as well as the Blast Burns. Our opponent could shield us up if they want to, but down shields, it's not like Low Kicks is even that worrisome for our backline. They're going to go for the no shield, it looks like, on that attack here, which is fine by me. My Incineroar can survive this move, and honestly, I could get a huge farm down here as well. I think Blast Burn is going to be very useful energy to have in the backline. In comes a move here. I almost attempted to catch. I guess it was a little bit too late on that, but that is fine at this point. In comes the Air Release. We do shield this up, and we're going to come out of this matchup with basically a Blast Burn loaded. Who's going to come in here? What is going to try to survive our damage? I have a full Blast Burn. No, Trainer, don't come into Low Kicks. Maybe they just shield and farm us down. But if they no-shield this, bye-bye Bug. This thing's... it's out of here. Okay, love to see that. And in the back... how many times are you going to do this? It's just they let their Pokemon get knocked out so early on. All I need at this point are fast attacks to win this game. I resync my fast move by going for that charge attack here, but at this point, there's no reason to do anything other than Fire Fangs, Pecks, Mudslaps. I don't get to 2 moves here. I might as well just go for fast attack pressure. This team is very high offense when it comes to things like that fast attack pressure here. They will throw a foul play. Does that even knock us out, though? Yeah, no, not quite. So we get a couple more Pecks against them, put them down deep into the red. 2 or 3 Mudslaps should get the KO here against our opponent. Yeah, once again, this team's fast move pressure off the charts. GG to our opponent. Incineroar putting in so much work. Next game, Sableye on the lead. We saw this a couple of times here. I think last time we actually shielded a Dazzling Gleam, which was pretty nice for us to see. I think going for the shield here is a very safe play. I don't love double shielding in this matchup because obviously in the backline, no shields on my Murkrow could be kind of bad, but at least committing 1 shield here will make it so I can at least make the Sableye's life pretty uncomfortable. If they want to shield this, they can be my guest. If they do that, I have back-to-back moves ready to go. In comes a Brutal Swing. They do shield this up, and now at this point, I could go for a shield or I could let this go, depending on what I think it's going to be. This time, though, I think I might as well commit the shield. I have so much energy already. I can come in with our Fire Fang damage here, go for that Brutal Swing as well for a bait. And our opponent at this point, they might shield us up. A Blast Burn would one-shot. We do get a shield. In comes our Claydol. And while I don't have any shields in the backline for my Murkrow, I don't really know if it's going to matter. Crunch would do a lot of damage here. I'm not quite sure it would one-shot us. It would put us pretty deep into the red. They go for the Aqua Tail instead, maybe to try to outpace us here. Yeah, they do get to a second one, which will knock us out this time. But I think this sets up a catastrophic farm down for our opponent. I can Fire Fang all the way down. I'm going to see what comes in here. They just swap into Sableye. Fire Fang that down. I can still Fire Fang down that Drapion. I have like 2 Blast Burns. Yeah, what are they going to do? Lose, I guess. GG to them. Next game, a Murkrow on the lead. A pretty neutral matchup as we've seen here. Fire Fang damage is going to add up quite a bit. Peck is going to just barely outpace us, but Fire Fangs will whittle down this Pokemon quite a bit. If I can't get rid of this Murkrow for a Claydol, then I'm hoping Claydol in the backline will have just a little bit more play. Drill Peck comes through. It does draw our first shield. In comes a Brutal Swing. Will we get a shield here ourselves, or will our opponent just let this go? In comes the attack. Our opponent going for the shield on this Murkrow. They're at another attack in just a second. They actually come in with their Incineroar here. I bring in my Claydol, and at this point, this matchup is going to be a little bit tricky, where I know Brutal Swing would do a lot of damage. Blast Burn as well. Maybe they'll throw that, which would do even more to us, but they do just Brutal Swing. We do survive. We no shield, and Mudslap plus that next Rock Tomb should KO this Pokemon. But I know there is still some energy on that Murkrow. I don't want to just knock him out here with this Incineroar. I want to get a bit more energy if I can. Yeah, one more Mudslap is going to be reached by our Claydol. Are we going to get another move against them? I guess we might if they bring in the Annihilate here. I go for the Ice Beam. Our opponent at this point goes for a CMP, and I think... Oh, don't tell me. Am I going to do Fast Move Pressure again to win this game? I think that might just be the win condition. Go for the Fast Attack Pressure against this Annihilate, then go for the Fast Attack Pressure against that Murkrow. And this game should, in theory, be in our favor. Okay, I do go for the CMP here. Thankfully, I throw a Charge Attack. I was kind of worried maybe I just go for Fast Attacks in this game, but no. I do throw a Charge Move here. I should be able to farm this down, Brutal Swing that Murkrow, and win us this game. Although with a boosted Annihilate, this damage is going to do so much to my Dark-type Pokemon. In comes our Incineroar. We go for the farm down. Honestly, maybe I should have just thrown a move there and farmed down the Murkrow instead, but I think this is the guaranteed win con. As long as a Brutal Swing is enough damage, this should knock him out. Down goes Murkrow. Incineroar closing out that backline with 1 HP. GG to our opponent. Next game, Incineroar up against a Shadow Annihilate. Oh my goodness, that is potentially one of the worst things we could see here. I have my Claydol and my Murkrow in the backline. Interesting simul swap by our opponent here. They were expecting an instant swap by me, and I mean, they weren't wrong, but I swapped into Claydol. Maybe they were expecting like a Dark type to come in instead, and I know for a fact I can shield this Aqua Tail. I can go for a Rock Tomb as well, but I'm seeing something kind of uncomfortable here. They actually survive with like 1 HP on this Shadow Drapion, which means I don't think I actually win the one shield matchup here. And I think we all know that Murkrow down a shield against an Annihilate is not even that good of a matchup, so I'm not quite sure where we're going to have play. But I do need switch advantage. There's no way I can lose switch advantage in this game. They come with a Greninja here. Oh my goodness, this Pokemon's just going to sweep our team. I'm going to go for that Rock Tomb. Our opponent will go for the shield here. And at this point, I'm just going to try to get another Rock Tomb if I can. They're building up so much energy, but they bank it. And I see a sliver of a win condition in this game. I don't know if you guys see it. It's going to be a tricky thing. There's a chance here that I can win it. I bring in my Incineroar. I build up energy here. They go for a Rage. This does not knock us out. In fact, I can swap now into our Murkrow, farm this all the way down before they get to a second attack. As long as I get 5 Drill Pecks or Pecks of energy, I can get a Drill Peck. I can win CMP against this loaded Greninja in the backline, somehow pulling out the win in this game. Drill Peck coming through, sniping down about 100 energy on this Greninja. Down it goes. GG to our opponent. Extremely close game there. That Greninja could have popped off, but luckily in the backline, Shadow Murkrow just a little bit too attack weighted, and we're able to pull out the win. With that here, a 3-2 set to finish off the day, and we climb like 3 points with a 3-2. We got, I don't even know what to say about that. We're getting so close to expert at this point. The queue times are so bad. The down pairs are not doing too great for us either. But I know at this point, expert is just a couple of days off. Maybe even tomorrow I could get it here. Incineroar, though, was a lot of fun to use. Fire Fang is a very offensive fast attack here. Brutal Swing pacing is amazing. And Blast Burn, as you saw in today's video, it does so much damage even to Pokemon like Mandibuzz. I think this Pokemon's honestly a legitimate meta threat in the Willpower Cup. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.